Here we go. 3 years in the making, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to Zannimask's Advanced Shuffle Tutorials Part 3, Feeling the Music. Let's get this done. So as I spent about 3 years critically thinking about what it is they wanted to put into this video, it's going to end up being a really big one. I've known this basically since the start. This is going to be a big video. I've wanted to talk about this for a long time, and I just couldn't really find the right way to go about it, and I feel like I still needed to learn a lot. But now I feel I'm kind of ready to discuss, at least to some extent, what I feel like is important in terms of musicality and feeling the music in shuffling. So without further ado, here we go. So just like always with all these videos, I'm going to start off with a couple of videos that I personally feel are really inspiring and can give some people some really great ideas in terms of musicality and feeling the music, and just really seeing what's possible when you're given a certain song or track or something. Not all of these are going to be shufflers, but I feel like in general, some of the musicality that's going to be displayed in these videos are truly amazing. So I really recommend that people check them out.
Tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you
So hopefully those videos inspired you guys a lot, and I recommend you check the rest of their stuff out. But the point is, this is supposed to inspire you in terms of becoming more focused on musicality and feeling the music and stuff with your shuffling. And so with that, we're gonna have to start with a shift of mentality when talking about shuffling as a dance. So a lot of people that I've met over the years have talked about shuffling mostly as a rave activity or something just like to do in clubs. Like, I've even had people come across on forums way back in the day where they just said shuffling shouldn't be done outside or should be done exclusively in clubs. And I'm thinking to myself, guys, it's a dance. Dance is a version of expressionism through skilled medium. So basically, it doesn't matter where you do it, where its home is. Yes, of course, it was born in the clubs and we have to respect that as its history, but that doesn't mean we can, disregard it as a full-blown dance. I mean, that like b-boying and like krump and all those things, like a lot of street dances, they didn't start in like big conservatories. I mean, they're street dances, and shuffling's the same way. It's a club dance, but it can be a full-fledged dance, just like all those other ones, You see like popping in commercials and like on dancing showcases and all kinds of stuff. It's a real dance, and so is shuffling. And that's really what I feel like is really important, is that people realize and discuss about how this is a dance. There are techniques to know, and it's not just about being in the club and hitting the beat. That's point one, and probably I think the most important thing to get at the start of this video is that I'm treating shuffling like a dance, because that's what it is. It is a dance. It's more than just rocking out in the club. It is full-blown dance, okay? Like, I don't know, I've had this argument with a couple of people, so I'm just really trying to get this point across, where this is a dance. It's definitely a dance. We gotta work at this like a dance, not just like some kind of club activity, okay? So with that in mind, let's look at what we can do with it. So as long as my first point has come across, we can start to move forward with this, and I feel like a good place to start is with these two other dance tutorials that are available on YouTube, and really, I feel, present a lot of really good information, can help a lot in terms of musicality. One is by Laurent from Les Twins, who are amazing, and another is from Kevin from the Jabberwockies, who are an amazing dance crew as well. In both of those, they talk about how it's less about putting on moves, and it's more about giving the sound a shape, especially in Kevin's. It's very important. So with that, I guess it hopefully becomes clear that I feel that dance is about giving sound a shape. It's more than just hitting the beat. There is, like, every song gives across its own vibe, and you bring your own vibe into that. And what dance does is it interprets those two vibes together, and then you move, and it translates what you feel and what the music comes across in your physical motion. And that's what I feel like dance is all about. I mean, there are certain dance styles like contemporary or ballet, which are less about, the actual structure of the sound, but are more about, the emotion and the feeling of the dance. And I feel like that's equally as important and equally as accurate. So hopefully with that in mind, we can move forward. So in terms of getting used to working with things in terms of musicality, I feel like one of the most important things is that listen to the song that you're going to dance to a lot. I mean, obviously when you're in a club setting, it's not really going to work to listen to the song a lot beforehand, but hopefully with that you can get practice in terms of interpreting the sound. So if you're planning on doing something like making a video, or you just found a song that you really like, listen to it as much as you can, because chances are if you love to listen to the song and you love to dance to it, you're gonna love to like analyze every little piece of it. That's how I am. I'd like to take apart every little bit of the song and try to be like, oh, that's what that sound is, that's what this sound is. And I feel like that will come in really handy, because the more of the song that you can find in there, the more that you can interpret and then bring out into the dance. So with that in mind, I feel like a lot of the main club banging type of electronic music that a lot of shufflers dance to, that doesn't really have any kind of melody or anything, really kind of falls flat. I don't know, I just find them boring, because I love to look at what else is there, and if all I'm getting is I just get bored, because there's only so much you can do with that, There's really good and like hard-hitting electronic music that has melody and rhythm and harmony and all kind of stuff, and like, why don't we all just dance to that stuff? Because it's all like, it's really good. I mean, some of it, but like, the point is that there's so much more to a song than just the beat, and if we detach ourselves just a little bit from that, I mean, dance on beat, yes, but only use the kick drum as your main source of dance inspiration, I don't know, you're neglecting, in some cases, like 99% of the song. I don't know, it just drives me nuts sometimes because there's so much more out there. You see, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is gonna be a little bit more of an opinionated video because I've come across some frustrating arguments that I need to try to settle here and give my side of the story to. I mean, yes, it is about, you know, but there's a lot more out there, so just, you know, keep that in mind. This is about expansion of the dance, okay? It's expanding your knowledge, advanced tutorials. You already know what to do, now let's see what you can do more. Like, that's what this is about, okay? Okay, cool. So with that in mind, try dancing to songs that have vocals in them, because usually in songs with singing, it is the most variant part of the song, so if you practice with that, you can use some of that and kind of show something new about the song, you know? Like this.
Got you feeling like I never give up, got you feeling like I never give up, it's like magic, got me feeling like a product, got me feeling like I never give up, got me feeling like I never give up on you, it's like magic, I got you feeling like a product, got you feeling like I never give up, got you feeling like I never give up, magic, 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 magic.
So another thing you guys can try is to find songs that have a little bit of variance in terms of the rhythm. Not necessarily that it goes into like 3/4 time or something like that where it's like triplets, which is kind of hard to shuffle to, but more about it plays where they put the accent on the rhythm, right? Here's an example of that. So yeah, do you see what I mean? It's still technically 4/4 time, but there's more going on in there, and it's actually playing with where the accent is, and it's giving a little bit of an off-kilter bit, so I can move myself so that it plays with that a little bit, you know? It's something new and interesting, and that's what this is all about. It's about new and interesting ways to look at shuffling. Something else that people can look for, especially in terms of, more specifically, just electronic music, is finding the difference between the way a song sounds compared to another song. There's certain beats that are just naturally kind of different. There's like hard beats or bouncy beats or kind of soft beats, and you can use that in your body language to kind of help play that up and make sure that that kind of comes out. Because if I was to dance the way a lot of hardstylers dance to, say, I don't know, just some soft trance, it wouldn't look really as good. I mean, depending on how, you know, talented you are, but it's more about how it interprets the song, right? It doesn't really seem like it fits, right? And same thing with dancing like really soft style to like hard trance. It still doesn't quite fit. So try to get a feeling of to what the sound of the beat is, and whether it's more bouncy or rhythmic, or whether it's like long and carrying and stuff like that, and try to accentuate that in terms of how you shuffle, where it can be more bouncy or more smooth and hard and soft and all that kind of stuff, and like fluid and rough, and there's so much more out there, right? So you can just find different ways to look at the beat and look at the way the song sounds. It's all about how the song sounds, right? So it's basically, if the song sounds a certain way, gives you that feeling of either bounce or softness or whatever it is, try to make that come out in how you shuffle and make that the visual as well as just how it sounds. Something else that's not quite exactly shuffling, but I feel like is gonna help a lot of people, is to take a look at popping. Now popping is the robot style of dancing, and that dance is pretty much exclusively musicality based, especially from the Jabberwockies and Lay Twins. They're both amazing duo and group of people who just have a way of doing exactly what I'm talking about, which is giving sound a shape in such a way that I can't imagine the song after hearing it without thinking about how they dance to it, because they just capture how the song sounds visually so well. So popping is really good for that kind of dancing, and also just for that level of musicality. And so this is gonna be probably one of the only times I say this, but maybe try picking up a little bit of popping, look into other dances that focus more on musicality, and that'll help your shuffling in turn. Since I started doing popping myself, I feel like I've become a lot more conscious as to how the song sounds while shuffling as well. I feel like it can come in really handy. So check it out, see what you can get into it. Just try it out, I don't know. I feel like it helps a lot. So give it a shot. If you're not into trying other dances, fine, but I feel like it can help. So try it out. So the point of what this little bit is basically when you get a good sense of the musicality and you're dancing to it and the other people around you can hear the music and can see what you're doing, it'll give the people around watching you a sense of like, this is what the song is all about, you know? Like, there's certain songs where like it sounds dark and grinding and this, and you can like change yourself to look like that, and you can like lean down and just kind of like crush this and put arms out like this, like claws or whatever it is, like give that notion out there, you know? Also with how you dress, that also is like, you can do that if you're filming a video and it's gonna be dark. You can, you know, put yourself in, I don't know, dark robes, something like that, I don't know. But yeah, the point is that you're gonna want the people to look at it and go, wow, that's what that's all about. And then I get into the whole shuffle to express, not to impress territory. So let me just go on a little bit of an aside here and address this real quick. So just meet me at the close-up. Hi there, welcome to the close-up. So the shuffle to express, not to impress thing, I have a huge problem with it because basically, why don't we just have both? I mean, probably every single person who's ever taken up shuffling, saw somebody else shuffling, was impressed, and then went, wow, I want to try that, and started learning. It's like, being impressed is what gets people inspired to do things. It's not a bad thing, you know? Like, it's one thing if you're doing it exclusively to impress people, but like the whole point is that you can have expression and impressing. Like, your expression can impress people. They're not opposites. You can just do both. So just do both. It's not complicated. So with that in mind, let's move on in terms of getting more variation out of the dance, especially in terms of musicality. So a lot of people who shuffle to hardstyle, not everybody, but a lot of people who shuffle to hardstyle end up looking very much the same. This is partially due to the fact that everybody gets inspired by the 2007-2008 era, like Mickey, Sacco, Tim, Rocky, all those people, like all those guys that we all know, I mean most of us know, but most of us know, and then they just try to emulate them instead of finding their own voice, start copying them, and then people get criticize these people and these people for being like everybody else, and that's not what dancing is all about, you know? You can have your own style. It's two basic moves, but it's like you can do so much more with it, and so you can really bring yourself into it, which brings me into why I kind of get frustrated with hardstyle. So hardstyle at its core is all about the bass and the kick drum, which I talked about earlier. Not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, when it's just the bass and the kick drum, you can do a lot of room for variation. It's good for practicing with, but if you want to do something like film a video or do some choreography or something like that, just that isn't really going to be exciting for a lot of people. So basic beats are okay if you want to just like find stuff to play around with, there's like some rhythm to keep you going so you can experiment. But I don't know, like there's so much more out there, but so many people just don't take it, which brings me back to the Laurent video that I was talking about earlier, because he says basically like he breaks down a rap song in the first like 20 seconds, and he says there's 6 different things you can dance to, but nobody ever takes them. They always take the same part of the beat, and that's how I feel like people are with a lot of shuffling stuff. They only take hardstyle and the kick bass combo, the boom, 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 boom. And so everybody ends up looking exactly the same. And for somebody who's been shuffling for like 6 years now, it's boring. I get really bored. And like, it's one thing, yes, it's impressive you can keep it up that long with that big of a stance and that fast, but like, it's not exciting to me anymore. And isn't that the whole point? Like, don't you want to have fun with it? And when I'm watching that, I'm not having fun. I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of opinionated on this, but like seriously, there's so much more out there, and it's disappointing to see so many people doing this dance that I love doing, and they're just like taking the bare minimum of it. They're just taking the bare minimum, and they're just like, yeah, here's the whole thing. I've been doing it for like 3 years. It's fine. I'm like, yeah, you're missing so much. It's here. Okay, here's the issue. Close up me again for another bit of real talk. Just like in that Laurent video, he talks about how this stuff frustrates him and how he gets like bothered by the fact that there's so much more out there but nobody ever takes it. They always just keep doing the same things, and he gets really bored, and I feel the same way. And a lot of people have commented on that video saying, wow, he's really egotistical, he thinks he's so much better than everybody else. It's not that. He doesn't think he's better. He knows that he's doing more. Like, there's a difference there. He's putting more effort into taking what's in the song and putting it out there. Just watch the video, I swear to you, like, there's so much that he does. Just in that little bit where I said earlier, he analyzed the first, like, 20 seconds of a rap song by Jay-Z, and he just takes it and just, like, makes something different of it every time, and he talks about everything. He can analyze. The point is, there's so much out there, and you're missing it. And why? You shouldn't have to. And with that in mind, let's talk about different kinds of music to shuffle to. Because, as I said earlier, shuffling is a dance, and dance is not restricted to the kind of music you can do it to. Take a look at Hampton Williams, okay? This is his video on So You Think You Can Dance. He's doing an interesting, incredibly well acted and personal, like it's emotional thing of popping to a song by Evanescence, which is basically the polar opposite of what popping is traditionally done to, which is things like hip hop and nowadays dubstep. So you can do it to anything. Like, it just depends on how you do it. You can shuffle to whatever you want. I've shuffled to some songs in the past that are like alternative rock or like jazz, and I myself have also experimented in dubstep shuffling. So, dubstep. Oh boy, dubstep with your wub-wubs and your pish-pish and your offbeat, crazy, chaotic nonsense. So, dubstep shuffling is something I tried first back in 2011. And that was when dubstep was on the rise and kind of becoming popular. I was getting into it, but because of that, I was interested in how could I shuffle to this where there's no distinct 4/4 beat time, you know? The drums were relatively slow. It was like at best, like, and that's still like a 4/4 time, but it's slow as all hell, right? Can't really shuffle that very easily. So what I ended up doing was, instead of focusing on that aspect of the song, I ended up looking at something totally different, which was like the bass and the synth and stuff like that. So it ended up becoming not a on beat, kicking on the beat, stomping on the beat, any of that stuff. It became more about giving the song a shape, which is what this whole video is about. And that's why I feel like it's really important to try and experiment with. Because it's something new. Like, that's the thing. It's not something that is automatically gonna be good. Something you gotta work at, but you know, I tried it out and it seemed to be pretty interesting. But the point is, it's something different. And trying it out is definitely gonna help expand what you can do with shuffling, you know? Because it became something very different from traditional shuffling, but at the same time, not that different at all. I mean, it was still Melbourne Shuffle. I was doing all the right moves in a really different way, and that's what really matters. Now, in terms of shuffling to different kinds of music, the point is, shuffling is a dance, you know? No other dance style is restricted to the music you can dance to. I mean, everything kind of started off as this is what you dance to with this dance, but it's expanded since. You can dance any way to whatever song you like. All it takes is somebody with the right mindset to experiment and try it and see like how the song makes you feel, and if that's how it comes out with the dance, then do it that way, you know? So you can shuffle to anything, you know? You can shuffle to dubstep, you can shuffle to country music, you can shuffle to jazz, you can shuffle to Bjork, I don't know. Shuffle to whatever you want. That's the thing, there's no limits. Like, whatever's in your music library, find a way. Find a way to do it, and it'll help you so much. It'll expand everything you know about shuffling. What I'm gonna do for you guys next is something that Laurent did in his video as well. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to provide a song, and I'm gonna show you step by step how many different layers to this song there are. And this will hopefully explain why it is that I like to shuffle the songs that have so much more going on, and also help explain that, like, you can find a lot more out of there, you know? This song is called Bad Apple. You can find it on YouTube whenever you want. And yeah, hopefully this will help you guys, give you good ideas to a visual aspect as to what I'm trying to convey here in terms of giving the sound a shape and playing up different parts of the song. Song that kind of sound like the same. I try staying in place, I try changing things around. There's a lot of different ways to interpret the same sound, which is another really important point, because everybody's going to shuffle differently, hopefully, because everybody interprets the song differently. you can do whatever you want with the song, but as long as you make it, fit, then it should be fine. There's a lot to do. The point is, there's a lot to do. For those of you who are concerned about dancing to harder music because that's what you're more into, and finding like good variant music for that, there are totally tracks out there that are very variant and very diverse in terms of what they do with the sound. They play around with like bringing the bass out and bringing it back in, all kinds of stuff. Here's an example of that. This song is actually one of my recent favorites. I really love dancing to it, and it's a really hard song that I don't normally like, but because it's so variant, I love dancing to it. So, try stuff like that. It's all out there. You can totally find it. Take a look. So much more out there than just hitting the beat, and the number of times that I see people dancing and they look just like the We Dance Hard or the Newcastle Rockers or the 2007, 2008, like the hardstyle rockers or any of those hardstyle clowns, any of those guys. I see so many people dancing and trying to look like them because they're what in their minds is cool. That really gets in the way of progress. Trying to look cool is going to hinder your progress as a dancer, which is kind of funny because the better you get as a dancer, the cooler you're gonna look. Like at no point do I look at somebody who's dancing exactly like Mickey and I go, wow, that person's awesome. I just go, oh look, he's dancing like Mickey. Great. The problem is, these are the people that are popular, and so these are the guys that everybody tries to shuffle like. And to an extent that's not a bad thing because they're getting shuffling more seen and more people are getting aware of it, but again, it limits what people can look like when they shuffle, when that's all they think is possible. I shouldn't have to sit through a 15-minute compilation just of people I've never seen before, shufflers I've never even heard of, and immediately not be impressed by any of them because they do exactly what the people before them did. It's like there's so many shuffle compilations where it's like, oh man, these are the best shufflers in the world, and really it's one style to one kind of music, dancing one way, and it's really frustrating for that, Most of my favorite shufflers are people I've gotten in touch with because they inspire me, and it's because they do something different. I mean, the closest thing to a classic style shuffler that I consider to be one of my favorites is probably like, I don't know, Az, and even him, and what he does so well, so it's one of the biggest things. If you look at people like Avalid, Psycho Melody, Dante, Oliver Side, oh god, Oliver Side, but seriously, all those people, Romara as well, god, so many of them, they do something so different and unique. I look at them and I go, that's who that person is when they dance. That's what I want. What I want out of a dancer is for me to see them and the music become one, It's not just moving a certain way to a song, it's putting yourself in there. You people who chant, shuffle to express, not to impress, express yourself. Don't express what Mickey or Len or Hiltzy or any of them, don't express what they do, express what you do. God, man, I'm getting kind of frustrated because this is stuff I've been seeing but haven't been able to comment on because I've been going, man, I want to put this in the video, but now it's been pent up for so long, I'm getting really vocal about this. So I'm sorry if this actually bothers you that I'm actually ranting about this because I didn't want to turn this into a rant fest, but I'm sick of it. I want to see as many shufflers as I can. I want to be inundated with amazing shuffle videos. I want to, go home from work or school or whatever and go, what did I miss in the shuffle world today? But nowadays, it's not like that, because I go, oh look, somebody's dancing this way again, you know? And so there's one thing like that, and that's, you know, great. You know, you want to shuffle. Like, I'm not gonna say don't shuffle, but don't you want to shuffle like yourself? Like, don't you want to not shuffle like another person? Isn't that kind of the whole point of dancing? Is to bring you out? I don't know, guys. Like, there's so much more, you know? And this is getting real serious, but there's so much more out there, and you can totally do it. I believe that every single person who has ever picked up shuffling can totally become an incredibly unique shuffler, because every single person is unique. Their personality, their body type, what they're into, like everything is going to affect it, you know? So the fact that I see so many people shuffling exactly the same way, it confuses me to the point of frustration. So hopefully this helped you guys, and hopefully I'm, you know, inspiring you guys, or at least, you know, maybe kicking you guys in the pants to get your act together and get really good and like really put yourself out there and try something new, you know? Try something new with the music. That's what the point of all this is, you know? And like, anybody who tells me what shuffling is, if anybody tries, I'm totally welcome to discuss it, because like, I care about this, you know? I care about it a lot. I've thought about this video for like 3 years, and like, every time I think about something, I go to talk about it with somebody else, and it ends up being this weird argument about what shuffling is versus what shuffling could be, you know, what it should be or what it can be. And I believe much more in the can be. It can be anything, you know? There's the running man and the T-step. That's all we were given, you know? That's all we had. And then we have so many diverse shufflers now because they took that and went with it and went somewhere nobody else had gone. And I want everybody to do that, you know? So yeah, listen to the music, feel it, bring it out, take the sound, take how it sounds in your mind and bring that out, you know? Find things that you can do that nobody else can do. Find a way of listening to the sounds nobody else can hear and bring that out. Show me what you can find in the song, you know? God, like, I want it so bad. Man. The point is, this is supposed to instruct you guys and help you guys find different ways to expand your horizons as shufflers. And I hope that this does that. I really do, because I did kind of go on a bit of a tangent a couple of times, and you know, a lot of people hold some of these ideals that I criticize very dear, so that I don't mean to actually insult anybody with this, but I feel like in some ways it gets in the way of expanding yourself as a dancer and as a shuffler as well. So, hope you guys liked the video. Yeah. Wow. I did it. Whew. Man. Can't believe that I finally did it. I mean, I'm positive that I've left out a whole lot of stuff that I want to talk about, but you know what? I got this done. This is going to be the last big tutorial that I do. Anything after this is going to be a small video. We're going to talk about one thing at a time. I just don't really have the ability to do anything else, and I feel like advanced arms, advanced footwork, and feeling the music, I feel like these are the big three, you know? Anything I come up with after this is going to be either attached to one of those and one of these earlier tutorials, or something new that's going to be a lot smaller and kind of less important. So if you guys liked it, be sure to let me know. If there's something you want me to talk about, you can let me know, just either in like comments or something, or give me a message on like my Facebook page, I don't know, something like that. But the point is, this was a big video for me because I've wanted to talk about a lot of this stuff for a long time. So thank you guys for listening, and I will see you soon with something else.